Welcome back to another great hour of American Senior Benefits Hour, along with Todd Riley. I'm Jay Stoll, joined by Tyler Shockey. If you want to call in, ask us questions. If you want to know insurance questions, and we can answer them for you, give us a call, a Honda of Lincoln hotline at 464-5685, or the Starter Heyman text line. Now, Tyler, as we said, this is the week where it's so very important that folks have their insurance coverages reviewed, their health coverages reviewed, making sure they're in a good spot. Why is it this week and moving forward for the next month and a half important?
Well, as anybody in the Medicare age group knows, when they go out to their mailbox, it's full. This time of year called the annual election period, or AEP. Every third commercial is going to be it. Like I said, their mailbox is going to be brimming. There's certain products, Medicare Advantage product, prescription drug products. This is the time of year that Medicare allows you to change those products.
Now, does it make a huge difference when you review it and then you tell your clients, hey, just so you know, for all 2023, you're taken care of? Sort of not stressed out about having to wonder, do I need to make changes? I talked to Todd, I talked to Tyler, we're in a good spot.
That's a great point. And we wholeheartedly encourage people to give us a call, because as you've heard me say every week here, if we can't help you, we're sure not going to hurt you. So yeah, by all means, have it reviewed. And a lot of times, though, the people that already we serve, we have done a good job for them, but we'll take a look anyway. And a lot of times we can tell our people, hey, you're sitting good, and unless you want to change something. But for the other people, man, it's tough to go online, or it's tough to make a phone call, an 800 number, and press 1 and press 2. And then they're still left with the question of, is this right for me? It was kind of funny. This is actually shows I'm living this more and more here. I was at a restaurant watching the Husker game, and in the third quarter, one of the Nebraska receivers, they said, had caught a pass, and upon review said that he had not. The TV that we were watching at the restaurant, all we saw on the review was the guy's back. That was all we saw. We saw him he could have had a football in his hands. He could have had a microwave oven. He could have had a baby. We have no idea what was in this man's hands. And they showed it like 6 times, like somehow that would help, looking at his back 6 times. But, and then it came up and said, ruling on the field has been changed. It's an incomplete pass. And the guy sitting at the table in front of me, I heard him say, how could they not call that a complete pass? I'm like, dude, you saw his back. You could have said, anything. But I got thinking, that's a lot like people we see. They don't know what they don't have. Or, I bought this 5 years ago. I bought this 10 years ago. It must still work. It probably doesn't work anymore. There's probably so much changes every year in this field, and especially in the drug part of it and the health part of it. Please do yourself a favor and give us a call and have us review it, because just like you can't tell if the guy caught a ball by looking at his back, you can't tell you're in the best plan if you don't review it.
Now, Tyler, I'm paying $250 a month for my supplements, and I get all these darn Medicare Advantage commercials and ads and people calling me, and I don't want to do it because I've been told don't do it. My friends and family say don't trust it. What do you tell somebody about that? What is a Medicare Advantage compared to, if you're paying $250 a month for something? Why is Advantage plans becoming more and more popular, and are they worth it?
Yeah, so I basically just tell people that you have to do your due diligence, and you have to look at both avenues, really. So the traditional avenue, if you will, the way that this kind of started before Medicare Advantage plans came into existence, was you had your traditional Medicare Parts A, Medicare Parts B, and then you had a Medicare supplement plan that helped fill in the gaps that Medicare didn't cover, which is why those supplements are often called Medigap plans. And then you took out what's called a standalone prescription drug coverage plan, a lot of times, which just helped cover the prescriptions, because the Medicare and the supplement, they didn't do that. Medicare Advantage plans were introduced, and basically what it was it's a way to receive your Medicare benefits, but instead of the government actually creating the benefit structure like Medicare, they take a lot of that money that you've paid into your whole life in Medicare taxes that you pay for Medicare Part B, and they give it to an insurance carrier, and the insurance carrier creates a plan with that money to help. Basically, it replaces the Medicare benefit side of things, the Medicare side of things. They create their own plan. So basically, you have to ask yourself, with the money that you're given, do you think the government can create a better plan, or an insurance company that's been in this industry for 100 years? Who's gonna have more proficient knowledge at creating a plan for you? And what we find out is that a huge percentage of the time, the Medicare Advantage plans created by actual carriers that know what they're doing and that kind of specialize in this field can create far superior plans, really, is what we're seeing. So, unlike Medicare itself, a lot of these plans come with dental coverage, for instance. They come with vision coverage or hearing benefits, coverage that's not covered under traditional Medicare. The exception of having cataract surgery or glaucoma, they don't care if you can see, right? So you got to go to a plan like this in order to get those kind of benefits, unless you were to take out something like a standalone. Just looking at the whole what we call it a summary of benefits, just the whole list of all the things that these plans cover, it really blows the doors off sometimes when you check them out.
Now, why is it important that when you sign up for one of these, or if you want to get involved in one of these, you just don't do it because someone says it's $0? Yes, sign me up. What are important factors, Todd, that people need to look at before even entertaining an Advantage plan, if they do, and moving forward with it?
That's a really good question, and that's, I think, where the confusion comes in for these people, because they do get so many in the mail. Well, this looks good. This looks good. We do a thorough review. We check their medications to make sure they're covered at the best rates possible. We check the pharmacy that they use to make sure they're in the network. We definitely check the doctors that they go to make sure that they accept the plans. And again, that would all be things, if people had to do that on their own, it's hit and miss at best. I mean, well, all three of us here have heard horror stories from our clients that somebody called them on the phone and they didn't check the doctors, and they didn't check the medication, and now these poor people are out, hundreds of dollars a month or more because it wasn't reviewed for them. So those are all important factors that we take into consideration. We do all the legwork for them.
Now, that's a lot of legwork to do. How much do you charge on consultation fees? I know, when financial advisors, talk to folks, they have fees that they can charge at sometimes. I know when you get a will, I mean, good Lord, you're paying $10,000 to get that thing constructed. To get somebody's health coverage, to walk them through it step by step and make sure they're in a good spot. How much do you charge on that?
Beautiful thing is, Jay, we do that as a service for the people. We're here to help them. We believe in a lifelong commitment with these people, so there's no fee for that.
So nothing. So you'll look. So someone calls you up, and says, "Hey, I'm interested in this. Can you look up my doctor medication, or can you come see me? We'll do this." It doesn't cost them a thing. You come there, you do it as a service. If they choose to get involved, great. If not, walk away. No hard feelings whatsoever.
Correct. That's exactly right. Word of mouth is a great advertisement for us too, and we know if we treat the people right, they'll treat us right. So that's the way we've done it since we've started. Just take care of the people, and word of mouth will get us around for it.
Excellent. Now, Tyler, you were talking gap, Medigap. What are gaps? So we know Medicare covers a lot, but doesn't cover everything. Medicare Advantage came around, and now you're getting some dental, vision, hearing covered. What are other gaps that Medicare will not cover, or Medicare Advantage will not cover, that folks need to know before they make an informed decision?
Yeah. So, when you're on traditional Medicare, or you're on, Medicare supplement plans, for instance, there's a lot of gaps. There's co-pays when you go into the hospital. There's co-insurances when you go into the hospital. Some big deductibles that you have to pay. It works the same way with Medicare Advantage plans. There's some co-pays. Some plans have little deductibles on them, or I shouldn't say little. Some plans have some deductibles on them. So there's gaps definitely in both plans. And there's a variety of ways to help make sure that you have those covered, right? So when you have traditional Medicare, you take out a Medicare supplement plan paying, anywhere between $120, $130 a month if you're lucky, and $400 or $500 a month, to help cover some of those gaps. With a Medicare Advantage plan, they have some gaps built in there too. We find that they're pretty manageable, and there's a lot of different ways that we can help cover those. So for instance, there might be a per day copay if you were to go into a hospital, for a couple days, and we have avenues that we can help cover that, so that when you're looking at the possible out-of-pocket expenses that you can have, we can make sure that you don't get hit with or saddled with any huge bill. We can definitely take a look at that and help solve those problems.
So if you're on a fixed income, Medicare Advantage plans sometimes make sense, don't they?
Yeah, they absolutely can. So a lot of times people on fixed incomes, they're afraid of a Medicare Advantage plan because they want predictability, right? So they say, hey, this Medicare supplement plan that I have is, it's $250, $260 a month, and it's tough, but at least I know that I won't have this big medical bill. God forbid I go into a hospital or go see a doctor. And there are ways to structure Medicare Advantage plans to prevent those large expenses as well. So we can help ensure some of that predictability. The most important thing really though is to sit down and have it reviewed annually and just see what makes the most sense for you. If you haven't looked at it, I can't tell you how many clients that I've seen over the years that took out a plan years before, and then all of a sudden 4 years later, everything's going great. So I don't need to review anything. And January rolls around and one or two of their prescriptions all of a sudden is $100 a month, or all of a sudden isn't covered. And they, you just assume, well, it was so great last year, it's going to obviously be great the year coming forward. And that is not the case, So we have a variety of different people that are leaning on us for support. We have some pharmacists that are leaning on us for support that say, hey, I can't handle running all these prescription drug checks. Can you please take care of this? Can you run the prescription drug checks for my clients here at the pharmacy? And we're happy to do that. And we're happy for any individual that just says, hey, I don't know where to turn. Can somebody please look at this plan and make sure it's still the right plan for me in 2023? And we're a great resource for that. We're like Todd said, we're happy to do it for the community, whether you work with us or not. We're willing to sit down and make sure that you understand how that plan works for you going forward.
Now, Todd, you had somebody come in the office or called you in the office the other day, had some concerns because medication got a little more expensive than they anticipated. Tell me about that.
Yeah, this poor guy came in. He was taking an extremely expensive medication. It was costing him. He had fallen into what's called the donut hole, which is something we can spend a lot of time talking about, but we won't. But when a person's drug expenses hit a certain level, they fall into the donut hole and then have to pay a noticeably larger percentage of the cost. His out-of-pocket cost for this medication was going to be over $200 a month, which he just simply did not have. The federal government has programs for people of low income. We can help them, guide them on that. But this gentleman's income was a little bit more than that, unfortunately, because with the government's kind of an all or nothing. If you make $5 more than the what they say, then you just don't get it. And that was kind of this gentleman's situation. But I know through different manufacturers of the medication who to give a call. And so we did. We called the drug manufacturer, asked for some help on their patient assistance program. They said, all right, we'll put it in the works for you. We should get back to him tomorrow. And it was really cool. I got a call from him the next day, which was Thursday, and he was just so happy he could hardly stand it. That medication that was going to cost him over $220 a month is now going to cost him absolutely nothing each month.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Cool.
And most people don't know how to do that, do they?
No, they don't have any idea, of course, because it's not what they do for a living.
And that's one of the specialties that we can bring. So,